Alright guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you're viewing this video. So, we actually had an online class here where we were trying to get ourselves familiarized and on the use and interaction on the Figma interface. And we were kind of like using Zoom, so we got disconnected a couple of times where we even had to wait for some 9 minutes, but we were able to do justice to that. So I would, I wanted to upload those videos on YouTube or the Facebook page so that for easy reference, so that anyone could go back just in case he or she forgets something or anything, and just familiarizing his or herself with whatever he or she missed. So I decided to take the pain of going through it over again, but this time solo. So if you have any issues, any comments, you can just leave it. And then leave your any contributions or questions, you can leave it in the comment section. So let's dive right in. So we said what we use here is Figma. We don't use, we're not talking about Sketch or Adobe XD. So you can just go to figma.com, or I already have one here. Sorry, just click on your figma.com. So if you don't have an account, this is it. So if you wish or would like to download Figma for your desktop, if you click on your downloads, you click on your downloads, takes you where file cookies. So here you can download for your Mac or your Windows. You can also download for your smartphone or your mobile phone or tablet. I think they are currently available on just the iPad. So one, like we stated earlier, one beautiful thing about Figma is that we can actually use it on the web. We don't necessarily have to install the app. So if you don't have an account already, you click get started for free, then you create your account. Well, I do have an account, so I'm just going to click on the login there. So I input my password. Alright, that's that. My power just went off, so we will have to continue nonetheless. So yeah, all these stuffs, they are cool, they are nice, but this is what we want to do. We're going straight to new design file. And now, just like we said earlier, we are here now. This is literally what we will see. And we said here, this is our tools bar. Excuse me. Here is our Canva. Excuse me. So one thing we can do is when we click on the untitled here, we can rename the file, or the file we're working on here. Let's give it getting started with Figma, or it's too long. Let's just leave it getting started. Hit your enter, and that's that. Now we said here this is our Canva. Now let's just go through the tools. In this here we have the file tools you can use to access your plugins, widgets, So we'll get into all of these later. If you come to the file section, you're able to import an image, or you can save as a local copy. Now you can only do this if you have the Figma app installed on your desktop. Alright, alright. You can use here to create a new Figma design file. Alright, so let's just continue. Now let's look at this third thing here. Is called the frame, and you can see the shortcut there, F, to access the frame. So what we do here in the frame, if you select the frame, if you look at your right panel here, you see it displays the multiple frames available. Like, we are aware of at least the three major ones: desktop, tablets, and phone. Yeah, which is mostly what we would be most preferable most preferably be working with when we're designing for any project. So we can just quickly choose any desktop frame just for this course. And the next thing we'll see here is the move tool. Normally the move tool is always selected by default. It's always selected by default. Yeah, and yeah, so let's look at this. Here is, if you hover on this, if you hover on the toolbar on any particular one, the name of that tool will be displayed. Now this one is called shape tool. I would love us to use a rectangle to do a little experimenting. And for our frame, let us give it a little shade of color. Right, when you select your whatever shape or frame, you see this the right panel here. You can actually do lots of editing and stuff to it. So if we come to fill section here, we can actually type the color we would want or prefer for our frame here. Or you can just select the left side of it and just move your mouse cursor to color you prefer. Alright, let's go for this. Now we're talking about the move tools. We said there are really two types of move tools: the scale and the move. Yeah, now let's just distinguish between both of them. In the scale tool, you see, whenever you're trying to adjust any particular shape, yes, you just can easily resize a shape however you want. But on the scale tool now, is that when you're resizing it maintains that shape, so it does everything uniformly. It doesn't allow you or give you the freedom of moving just one part of that shape like the move tool would. So that's basically the difference between the scale and the move tool. So you can also go ahead and play around. Yeah, so this is another area I really love us to play along with. We've just brought the rectangle. We can also insert the line shape. We can bring the arrow too. And a quick one: if you actually want to utilize or use any particular shape, all you have to do is click, hold and drag. All you have to do is hold and drag, and you would drag the shape to whichever. Yeah, this is for star. And you can even see that you can literally place, let's say if we draw, okay, you can literally place any picture of your choice here. Thought I put a picture. I imported a picture, so alright, nonetheless, like what you see me doing, I'm zooming in and out. So you can come here, you can click on the zoom in, you can click on zoom out. So shortcut to do that, I hold my control and I scroll on my mouse. It gets that done for me. So however is more preferable to you, it's still fine. Now we can quickly look at the different ways of editing our shapes. They are similarly, like they are basically the same steps. If you come here, this is for your alignment. Most of us are very familiar with our um, Word documents and stuff, but I don't think we don't really need this for this particular design now, because you can align it to the right, you can align it to the left, you can align it to the center of this frame that we selected. Don't forget, but we really want it to remain the way it is because we want to do some editing. And this is more like you positioning it on the X and Y axis. So another, you can actually just click and drag. You see yourself that you're moving the shape on the x-axis how it was earlier. So let's just return it. It was at 33%. Let's just keep it at 30 now. And yeah, same thing for the y-axis. If you can literally drag and it will increase or decrease. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging. So let's just leave it at 60%. It's okay like that. Now, like we've said earlier, here we can actually select the color shades we'll love to use for our shape and stuff. We'll do that here. Choose any color that you want, and here for the stroke, it's more like the outline of the rectangle tool. Here you can say, if you hover here now, what does it say here? Okay, well, this is more like for the outline. Let's say we want to increase it out, the outline, the border of the rectangle. Let's say we want to give it a border of 20. Here you see that, and you can actually set the color of the border you selected here. You can set any color you want. And another thing you can notice here, we can set the radius of our rectangle here. Okay, you can see that it might not be all noticeable. Now another thing you can also note is that instead of you coming to your right panel, the design, and doing your editing and changes, although it's advisable so you have the right and adequate measurement of whatever you're doing, an easier way for you to do that is simply, if you come on your shape, if you hover towards this little spot here, you can actually increase the radius to however you want, just by clicking and dragging. You select the radius that you most prefer, and yeah, you can leave that just like that. Another way, if you come to the outer, now if you come beneath it a little bit, you click and drag, if you drag it to the left, you can actually do your rotating. Now take a good observation of what is happening on the right panel. You see that however we rotate this shape, the value of the rotation and the movement of this shape is being displayed on our right panel here. So that's like what we said, that you can also actually control it here. We can put it on a 30 degrees. It still takes the same effect. Let's just leave this at 0 degrees. Let it remain the same. Let's put this at the border radius. Let's put it at 70%. Yeah, that's that for that. Even when it comes to the coloring, if you click on effects here, you can choose the different possibly, okay, I think we can handle this later. That's if you want to, you're trying to choose um, a drop shadow effect, like a shadow effect for your shapes. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other thing that can be added for us here? Oh, that's fine. Now, that's that. So this same thing can also be done to the circle. We can increase, and if we come over and come to the right part of an ellipse, you see that icon, the arc, where we can actually increase or decrease the arc that we want. And after setting the arc that we choose, we can actually change or fix the starting point of the arc however we want, just by holding the start, or you come to the end, putting the end aspect. And you notice that first thing we did, we had to actually open up the arc. Then once we open up the arc, we have seen a couple other options like the start, the end. Okay, this is the start, and this is sweep, where you want to set, maybe you want to keep increasing or decreasing the arc that we set earlier. And then for this one inside is more like the ratio, and set the ratio of the ellipse however you want. And our pattern for copying and pasting is kind of universal. It still works here. You can do your Ctrl C, Ctrl V here to copy, to duplicate the shape, and see the duplicate of that shape. So I'm going to add this, try to make some sort of logo. So I actually wanted to do a little hovering. Then we can give this. Okay. So that's just that. So we can actually do the same for the polygon. Here in Figma, you see this polygon, and normally you might want to say it's a triangle here, but Figma really actually identifies it as polygon. So from here you can actually set whatever you want. You can go up to octagon, you can even set the polygon. So if you want this, like if you still come to the right side, let's say a polygon with 8 sides is an octagon, right? When you set the number of count you want it sets for you. And you could also come here to this option you see count. You can increase it and increase the count to however you want. So possibly this is what you might identify Alright, so we can use this or whichever we want. Here is to set the radius. Remember radius, so maybe we can leave something little bit. Increase it and to 6. That's that. Yeah, so can play around. Same thing happens for the star too. You can set the ratio of the star. You want it to be very slim, or you want something star that is well fed. Or can also increase the count. Also increase the count. Let's say we increase the count to 21, and then increase the ratio. This is so you can just play around whatever you want. Next thing here is more like the arrow, the arrow, the arrow shape. And like we said earlier, you can come here, increase the width or the size of the arrow like we did for the rectangle. Let's say we want to give it a 10, so it is bolder now. You can still do the same thing. You set your colors, change the direction where it's facing, simply holding on to this, dragging. Okay. Set the color you prefer here. And then this is another beautiful aspect, another beautiful phase of the arrow. You can come here. This is the end, this is the starting point. Here is the starting point of the arrow. You can actually change the head of the starting point. You can leave it at none. You can give it this or that or that or this. And let's say we want to use the reverse triangle, and that's that. Actually, same thing happens for the line. The line actually works a lot like the arrow. You can do whatever you do to the arrow, you can do same thing to the line. So say we want to set a circle for the starting point, and then a diamond arrow on the ending point. So that's just that. And finally, so you can just play around. Literally, you can just go around your tools, just play around your tools, build confidence. You can even come up with logos. You can come up with logos for any imaginary business. You can just come up with logo, be creative. All I did here was I duplicated this 3 times. Let's say here we can give this let's say here we can give this a little shade of red, and give this some shade of yellow, give this a shade of green. So you could still use this as a logo for any business. This is cool. So as we go on and further working on various designs and projects, and we will keep getting ourselves familiarized with various other tools and how they work. So you can actually click on and select multiple shapes. I held down my shift on my keyboard, and I selected these 3 shapes. You can group them. You can either right click, you see various options, Control G to group selection. You group them, now they are one. See that? Another way you can select, I just did Control Z to undo. so they are independent. Now another pattern you can do that is coming here, you can select them. So I just use my control to, I held my control down and selected 3 of them. So I use your control G to group. I think you can also still group from here. Okay, this is a group selection, a group. So that's just that. Yeah. So the next thing and final thing I would love us to look at, which is pretty important, is the vector mode. So whenever we're doing any form of design, to enter the vector mode, whatever shape you are selected, you can just hit your enter. Now you're on vector mode and you can see that here. Now I know I may have lots of big graphics designers watching these videos, watching this video. You know, just like when you're using CorelDRAW, when you're trying to play around with a shape, being more flexible and stuff, there's that option that they call when you're trying to convert to curve. Yeah, so you can actually, vector mode helps you do more with your shape. We've seen what the normal selection mode, the limitations we have to just resizing, rotating, setting radius and stuff. But with vector selection mode, we can actually do more. Here, we can actually, it just becomes even more, you're able to play around. Let's say you're not satisfied. Look at this I'm doing with this shape now. It's almost looking like a beef now. The type of beef you see on Tom and Jerry. Yeah, so that's just the fun of. Now if you hover on any, if you hover in between the endpoints of, yeah, of the vector, you, if you hover at the center, you will see another point where you can click and still make your changes and stuff. You would always see that. And just say it's not enough for you, you want more points. Okay, let's see what I just clicked on the bend tool. So this is what the bend tool does. It's low. This is what the bend tool does. So you say you want more points. If you come here and click, you've added more points to your, maybe, and click, you've added more points. And now select. Alright, we're going to continue. Alright guys, I'm really sorry. Yeah, my battery died out, so I had to, my power just came back, so I had to get the charge. So let's continue. So yeah, I think we were talking about the pen to how you can use it and stuff. So whenever you're done, you just click on your done. So that's that. It's not really funny having your power disconnected. Like, I'm trying to think of where I stopped. Okay. Nonetheless, let's just see what we can do with vector mode on our star shape. Let's zoom in a little bit. Now you can see that here you can you have more freedom to do whatever you want on the vector mode. You simply and also so I know what I'm doing. Okay, let's hit our enter to exit. Let's rotate this a little bit. Yeah, let's see what we have here. Wow, that's so beautiful, that's so beautiful. All right. So another tool here that you see me using is the hand tool. You can use H. Let's say you want to position your screen well. Let's put this at 50%. You want to position your screen well. Yeah. So let me duplicate. Okay, let's go back to our. Yeah, let me duplicate this. Shortcut to duplicate is duplicate selection. Shortcut to duplicate is Control D. As soon as you duplicate, all you have to do is let's increase let's increase the width of this frame. Let's select the frame. Let's increase the height of the frame rather. When you duplicate, all you have to do when you press your Control D to duplicate, all you have to do is just drag your shape. Like let me do that again, or let me just delete. Once you select the shape you want to duplicate, you just press your Control D. It's duplicated. All you have to do, just you might not know, or you might seem as if nothing happened, but just drag and come out of it, and you see the other two you actually did. Now let's enter vector mode for this. You see we can actually play a lot. Now I don't know what we're doing. Possibly we're doing so whenever you're done with your vector mode, you hit your enter here, or you hit your done here, or you just hit enter on your keyboard, and that's that. Alright, so I think we've worked on some beautiful stuff. So now this is, you can literally use this to design logos. You can use it to design logos or whichever you want. Okay, this is not vivid enough. Let's possibly give it a pure white. Alright, this is more vivid now. Yeah, so you can just be creative, and in fact that will be the assignment you'll be having for after this class. Just play around with your shape tools, try to come up with uh, any symbol, any icon, just try to come up with a logo just by playing around. You see, we've handled this. Now the next thing here is your pen tool. You've seen that you have the pen and the pencil tools. Let's just see. Basically, the difference is that when you're trying to use your pen tool, the pen tool somewhat open. You can only use this pen tool in more like your vector selection mode, and it helps you. Let's say you want to draw kind of like a well sized let's say shape. It helps, suggesting those measurements helps your shape, the shape you're coming up with, just be on, yeah, like seem well calculated and stuff. Let's help everything look so cooler. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know, you get the point of what we're trying to say here, yeah? So that's just that. So you're able to aim for some sort of perfection. Unlike when you're done, you hit your done or you hit enter. Never forget. So unlike your pencil tool, here in your pencil you have more freedom uh, to do whatever you want, however you like. So just like when we're talking about sketching, we were using we stated that you could use some specific softwares to sketch, but I wanted you to see it real time, and so you can have access to what I sketched. You recall that I used my pencil tool here on Figma to sketch. Yeah, so another tool here which is very important is the text tool. Now there are basically two ways which we can use to insert text on any of our designs. You see, you can, when you select your text tool, you can either drag, more like this is, it's some sort of, you just click and drag, some sort of text box is being displayed, where you can use this to measure how much width or height specifically you would like your text to cover or use. So whenever you have enough of that, you can just release your mouse, and then afterwards you can begin to type. So let me just use a Lorem Ipsum generator. This is just this for this class. Actually, you can actually access this just with a plugin on Figma. We'll be looking at that soon. So let's just get some dummy text. Quick. Why are you taking this much time? Quick. Okay, let's just copy this. Don't. What is going on here? What is going on here? Let's just generate 200 words. Generate. Can you be fast? Okay. So it has done that. Let's just copy this. Let's come back to our Figma, and let's just paste that text here. Well, the text has been placed here. Now you may be thinking that they are small, but no, they are not really that small. Just do not forget that the display we're using here is just 43%. Imagine if we are to take this back to 100%. And then you also have to know that we are using some sort of desktop frame. Now that's that. So here we can just simply select our text or highlight our text. What I used there was Ctrl A, and you can still work on editing your text here. You can use here, you can use this to increase or decrease the font size as you wish. So possibly let's give it a 30 font size. Alright, now okay, you use this, you can change the typography. You can just use this to do various changes or modifications to your typography. If you want them to be bold, it's bold. If you want it to be extra bold, that's extra bold. Let's see, black. Yeah, so that's just that. And you can also change the font size. The font type rather I have currently is Inter. So you can, if you have any font type at heart, you can just manually input it, and you see it being suggested to you. You can either select or ignore. Another pattern you can do, if you come down to the navigation icon beside it, you click on it, you see list of fonts you can actually use to work with. So I would literally advise you that whenever you're trying to select a font for your designs, always go to Google Fonts. Ensure that the font you are selecting is available on fonts. So you can always come here, fonts.google.com. Just is in fact, this is the exactly what to do. Ensure that whatever font you wish to use is available on the Google Fonts API. So you can come here, search through the available fonts, and then you can possibly, whichever you like or prefer here, you can use it. Go to your Figma and utilize. Yeah, so possibly later we'll be talking why that's important, why that's very important. So that's that. And another thing I would like you to notice is that look at exactly where our text box ends. Now see what's happening to the text. Now we use this text box to predefine the width and the height we would love our text to occupy. And as we can see, so the text, because of the font size that we chose, the text is pretty beyond, is more than, it's more than the text box that we highlighted. Just like I told you earlier, there are two ways we can write text. So we use the first one, which is to define a text box. Another way is to just, when you select your text, you just click. Once you click, you just paste your text. So this other pattern more like uses some sort of auto layout. So the only disadvantage of it being that, like, the text will just keep going on some form of infinite width, because we didn't predefine any width. So to control that, you can just come to any point, hit your enter, it breaks it to the next line. I'll do that too for here. It breaks it to the next line. Yeah. So I'll also do that for this. It breaks it to the next line. To also do that, we can come here to reduce the width. So once we keep reducing the width, the as we reduce the width, we see that the text box is actually responsive, and it aligns itself properly to how we may prefer it. So that's that for that. And actually, once we start looking into responsive designs, you see that you can literally actually modify, like this text, that the text just um flew over, just kept coming under and under the text. You can actually fix that with when we start handling what we call responsive designs. Like I said earlier, there's what we call auto height and auto width. Okay, this is auto height. Once we click on that, you see immediately the text box covers up for the the lapse is like the lacking, it just covers up the excesses of the text, and all of the text is within that text box. Let's say we have that same issue for 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 the width. Let's say we keep typing and typing and typing and typing and typing and typing. You really pardon me, I think my system is lagging a little bit. My system is lagging a little bit. I think I need to restart it a little. So, well, it came under. Now, what happens if we set the auto width? You're going to see that because there was no form of breaks or page break, what you call in your office word, all of the text have to like automatically keep going long. So that's not what we want for now. So let's just restore it to default. Yeah. So for other manipulations we can do with our we can set text color. We can like we do with our office word. What's going on? We are supposed to be able to move. Move this text here. Okay. So you notice what happened. Yeah. Next thing, you don't have to forget font our hand tool. You use it to adjust. I love my hand tool so much. So we go back to our now. Why I'm bringing this text up to this frame so I can do a couple other stuff. Without it being on the frame, I wouldn't be able to. Or nonetheless, let's bring it down back. Instead, we can create another frame on it. Right click, put it on the frame selection. Now a new frame has just been assigned to this text, so we can increase the height of the frame. Yeah, so what we do with our office word still comes here. We can choose to align our text. We can align it left, we can align it right, and put it at the center. Yeah, so that's all that. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's basically all we need to do and know for now. So with this, I hope I've been able to literally touch the basic stuff. So I may not have been able to successfully touch every single thing. So while we keep designing and interacting with Figma, we just keep learning more. But this is more like a hands-on, get you to build your confidence, and most especially I'm focusing this specifically for the shape tools. I would literally love to see how well you guys manipulate shapes and work on your various shapes, come up with various logo, and that will be more like an assignment for you. just design any logo of your choice. And whenever you do any job, or one thing, okay, I think I've told you about the hand tool. Use it to move around. Here's the resources. We don't really need this for now, but I have clicked on it already. Don't worry, we are going to handle this later. You just use this to easily locate your components. By the time we start treating plugins, I have some plugins installed here. I think I have. Okay, okay. You can still get the lorem. Let's say you want to install any kind of plugin. You can, if you type in lorem here, you can install your lorem plugin. So I wouldn't have to always use that lorem generator. Just come here and get me some lorem dummy text. Then we'll just look at this later as we go on with our Figma causes our hand tool, and this is more like for comments. Maybe you're working on a user flow, or possibly you're collaborating with peers. You need comments like this where you kind of more like describe every steps and stuff of your design, so that whosoever is, they can literally understand exactly what it's for. If you're into programming, you know what comment is for. In programs, comments are the non-executable parts of the code. So I think same applies here to Figma. All right, thank you so much, guys, for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and check out other Figma videos we have in store. So like I said earlier, you can always come here, click on your share. If you click on your share, you can copy your link. Link is copied, then you can share to your friends. They get to see what you just worked on. So thank you so much, guys. We'll see you on the next lesson.